Hi. This video is on basic Vedic astrology. But if you already have some sort of knowledge of Vedic astrology, then this may not be the right video for you. Okay, I want to start by showing you a chart. This is how a Vedic birth chart will look like. This is the South Indian format of the birth chart. There are other formats, but I personally prefer this South Indian format. This chart, as you can see, is divided into 12 parts called the houses. Let's go through the zodiac signs which will be placed in the respective houses. I will also mention the Vedic names of the zodiac signs, which is good to know. We will start with Aries, the natural first sign. It's placed here. The Vedic name is Mesham. Next is Taurus, Vrishabham, Gemini, Midunam, Cancer, Kadagam, Leo, Simmam, Virgo, Kanni, Libra, Tulam, Scorpio, Vrichagam, Sagittarius, Dhanusu, and the next is Capricorn, known as Magaram, Aquarius, Kumbham, and finally Pisces, which is called Meenam. Now the colors are there for a reason. I want to introduce the rulership of each of the signs to you. The Sun and the Moon rule one sign each, and the rest of the 5 planets rule 2 signs each. Let me begin with the Sun. The Sun rules over Leo, the Moon Cancer. Next, Mercury rules over Gemini and Virgo. Green is Mercury's color. Venus rules over Taurus and Libra. Pink is one of the colors of Venus. Then Mars rules over Aries and Scorpio. Next, Jupiter rules over Pisces and Sagittarius. And finally, Saturn rules over Capricorn and Aquarius. Black is Saturn's color. You will clearly see the pattern in the chart. And as you know, Mercury is closest to Sun, followed by Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and then Saturn. So this is one reason why I wanted to use the South Indian format, because it's very clear. Your Western sign is usually different from your Vedic sign. The Western sign follows your Sun placement in the chart, whereas the Vedic system follows the Moon placement in your chart. For example, my Western sign is Sagittarius, but my Vedic sign is Leo. So it is important to note this difference. This format of the chart you see with the sign placements will be the same for everyone. What will be different is, of course, the planet placements. So if you go to an Indian astrologer, he will first draw up this diagram and then put the planets into the respective houses based on calculations. The birth chart will then contain the planet placements as they were at the time of your birth. The house where your moon falls will be your Vedic sign. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. I just wanted to show you the Vedic chart again for a quick recap. Today I want to introduce the nature of the planets in respect of Vedic astrology. As I've mentioned earlier, the colors belong to the respective planets. We shall begin with the Sun again. The Sun is a natural malefic. The moon is a benefic if waxing and a malefic if waning. Mars is a natural malefic. Mercury is neutral, but becomes a malefic if it joins a malefic and a benefic if it is with a benefic. Jupiter and Venus are both natural benefics, and Saturn is a malefic. The remaining two are not actual planets but the nodes of the moon. They are known as the snake planets. These are actually the points of intersection of the Earth's revolution around the Sun and the Moon's revolution around the Earth. They are called Rahu and Ketu, and they are both malefics. It should be noted that natural benefics may become temporary malefics based on their respective placements in your chart. Similarly, a natural malefic may also become a temporary benefic. And there is one other reference point which is used in the Vedic system. It is called the Lagna or the Ascendant, which is the sign that rises in the east at the time of your birth. This sign changes every 2 hours or so, which is why an accurate time of birth is required for a good prediction. For the purpose of knowing basic Vedic astrology, you need not know the computations for the planet placements in your chart. There are lots of sites on the net which generate this report for free. I personally go to AstroVed for my Vedic birth chart report. We shall look at the strength of the planets in the next lesson. Thanks for listening. The last video was on the nature of planets. I know I said we shall look at the strength of planets in the next video, but I thought I should give you some basic information relating to the planets first, which I think is important to know. Let me give you the Vedic names of the planets known as the Grahas. They are Surya, Chandra, Mangal, Buddha, Guru, Shukra, and Shani. The nodes, as I've mentioned earlier, are known as Rahu and Ketu. This chart gives the ruling days of the planets. I just want to add that the nodes Rahu and Ketu do not rule any day in particular, but if you wish to offer prayers to them, it is good to do it on Mondays and Sundays respectively. This chart states the numbers ruled by the planets in that manner. And I also wanted to speak a little bit on the ruling hours of the planets for each day. The first hour of any given day is ruled by the planet ruling that day. So for example, the midnight of Wednesday up till 1 a.m. will be ruled by Mercury. I shall speak more about this at a later stage. That's all for now. Thanks for listening. The last lesson was on the Vedic names and the ruling days of the planets, and also the numbers ruled by the planets. In this video, let's look at the planet or the graha governances. Each planet governs certain aspects of your life. The sun primarily governs the soul, the moon your mind. Mars denotes one's strength, while Mercury is the speech giver. Jupiter signifies knowledge and happiness. Venus governs potency, and Saturn, grief. This chart contains the gender of the planets. The Sun, Mars and Jupiter denote male gender. Moon and the Venus denote the female gender. Mercury and Saturn are neuters. The next chart states the overlords of the respective planetary lords. When you're performing remedies for the planets, it is good to do so for both the planetary lords and their respective overlords. We shall look at an example of a birth chart in the next lesson. Hi, this is Madina here. The last lesson was on getting your natal Lagna, Chandra Lagna and Surya Lagna Vedic charts. In this video, I shall give you further information on the zodiac signs. The signs, which are also called the Rasis, are classified as movable, fixed, and dual. Before I give you the table containing the classification, I want to show you the way by which it can be derived at. Let's look at the Vedic chart. I have already given you the Vedic names of the signs earlier. The signs are classified as beginning from Aries, a movable sign, then Taurus, a fixed sign, and then Gemini, a dual sign. Repeat the same in that order and you will get the classification of the other signs accordingly. You can now have the table containing the respective movable, fixed, and dual signs. I shall give you the nature of the zodiac signs in the next lesson. The last video was on movable, fixed, and dual signs. I have already told you about the malefic and benefic tendencies and the gender of the planets. Now I will let you know the malefic and benefic nature of the signs and also their genders. Let's look at the Vedic chart. Again, beginning from Aries would be a malefic sign, and the next, which is Taurus, will be a benefic. Continue in that order in a clockwise direction, and that will give you the nature of all the signs. Similarly, for the gender of the signs, begin from Aries as a male sign, followed by Taurus as a female sign, and repeat the order again in a clockwise direction to get the gender of the signs. This table gives the nature and gender of the zodiac signs. The last two videos was on movable, fixed and dual signs, and also on the nature and gender of the signs. Earlier I have also spoken about the Natal Lagna, Chandra Lagna and Surya Lagna charts and the numbering of the houses so as to get the said charts. In this video, I'm going to give you the names of the houses. The first house where your ascendant is placed is called the Tanubhava. Second is called Dhanabhava. And then Sahaj, Bandhu and Putra Bhavas. Ari, Yuvati and Randra Bhavas. The 9th, 10th and 11th houses are called Dharma, Karma and Labha Bhavas. And lastly, the 12th house is called Vyaya Bhava. Now I want to mention on the classification of the houses. The first set of classification will include the angular, trinal and evil houses. The angular houses, called the Kendra Bhavas, are 1, 4, 7 and 10. The trinal houses, called Trikona Bhavas, will be 5 and 9. The evil houses, called the Dusthana Bhavas, will include 6, 8 and 12. And there is yet another set of classification, which will be the Panafara Bhavas, which are the succeedent houses 2, 5, 8 and 11. The next will be the Apoklima Bhavas, which are the cadent houses 3, 6, 9 and 12. Then we also have the Chaturasra Bhavas, which are houses 4 and 8. And lastly, the Upachaya Bhavas, which are houses 3, 6, 10 and 11. I will give you the general signification of the houses in the next video. In the last lesson, I gave you the Vedic names and the classification of the houses. Earlier, I did speak about the planet governances. Similarly, as I was saying, the houses too are indications of certain aspects of our lives. Let's take a look at them now. The first house where your lagna is placed and also called the Tanu Bhava is from which you can guess your physique, appearance, intellect, complexion of the body, vigor, weakness, happiness, grief, and your innate nature. Second house or the Dhana Bhava will indicate your wealth, food, family, death, enemies, and so on. The indications of the third house or the Sahaj Bhava will be of your valor, servants, brothers, sisters, initiatory instructions, journey, and also parents' death. The fourth house or the Bandhu Bhava relates to conveyances, relatives, mother, happiness, and lands and buildings. The Putra Bhava or the fifth house signifies learning, knowledge, children, and so on. The sixth house, called the Ari Bhava, indicates maternal uncle, doubts about death, enemies, and ulcers. You can guess your relationship issues, spouse, marriage, travel, and death from Yuvati Bhava, which is the seventh house. The Randra Bhava, which is the eighth house, and also one of the evil houses, will indicate longevity, enemies, and things that have happened and are to happen in the past and future births. The ninth house, known as the Dharma Bhava, signifies fortunes, religion, father, and so on. The Karma Bhava or the 10th house stands for authority, profession, father, living in foreign lands, and debts. Your articles, income, and prosperity can be guessed from the 11th house known as the Labha Bhava. And the last house, known as the Vyaya Bhava, will show your expenses and history of enemies and also one's own death. Just to let you know before I end this video that of course there are many other indications apart from these general ones, and we shall look at them later on. I gave you the indications of the 12 houses in the last lesson. In this video, I want to show you an example using a Vedic birth chart. I picked this date and time of birth just to illustrate some points, and the name is there just for easy reference. Okay, these are the planet positions for this birth chart. If the birth chart that is used doesn't specify which of the three it is, that is whether it is a natal lagna, Chandra lagna or a Surya lagna chart, it will most probably be a natal lagna chart. As you would have known by now, your wealth is indicated by the Dhana Bhava, which is the second house. So for a start, if you wish to work with the planets in respect of improving your financial situation, you should work with the Lord of the house, which in this case you will clearly see that it is Jupiter. If there are any planets which are placed in the house, then they too will play a part in influencing your wealth. I will speak on the strength of the planets soon so that you can assess the strength of the respective houses accordingly. Of course, there are other considerations like aspects from other planets and malefic or benefic influences on the houses, and like I said, the strength of the planets themselves, which we shall be looking at soon. Thanks for listening. Hi, this is Madina here. I have received a number of thank you notes from viewers. I just want to say thank you for appreciating my work, and most importantly, I hope that all of you benefit from my videos and also my sharing of this knowledge with you. Well, the previous video was on an example of a Vedic birth chart, the birth chart of Narayana. Today I want to introduce the exaltation and debilitation houses of the respective planets. Just a point to note that if a planet gets exalted at one house, then the house of debilitation will be 7 houses from the house of exaltation, counting from the house of exaltation itself. Let's look at the table. We shall begin with the Sun. The Sun gets exalted at Aries, and like I said, it will be debilitated 7 houses from the place of exaltation. I will show you the Vedic chart so that you can see clearly what I mean. Aries is where the Sun gets exalted, and 7 houses from that point, that is counting in Aries, will be Libra, where the Sun gets debilitated. Let's go back to the table again. In the same way, the Moon gets exalted at Taurus and debilitated at Scorpio. Mars gets exalted at Capricorn and debilitated at Cancer. The exaltation house for Mercury is Virgo, the house that it rules in this case, and it is debilitated at Pisces. Jupiter's house of exaltation is Cancer, and it is debilitated at Capricorn. Venus is exalted at Pisces and debilitated at Virgo. Saturn is exalted at Libra and debilitated at Aries. Rahu and Ketu, the snake planets, are stated to be exalted at Taurus and Scorpio respectively. Just take note also that Rahu and Ketu are always 7 houses from each other. This can be seen in Narayana's chart. That's all for now. Thank you again. The previous video was on the exaltation and debilitation houses of the planets. In this lesson, I want to introduce the Vedic stars to you. The zodiac consists of 27 stars known as the nakshatras, through which the planets move. These 27 nakshatras are aligned in a certain order beginning from the nakshatra Ashvini. Let's look at the order of the zodiac signs in the birth chart. I have converted the birth chart format into a bar diagram for purposes of showing you the alignment of the nakshatras. As you know, each sign is made of 30 degrees, totaling 360. In Vedic astrology, each star is divided into 4 parts, totaling 108. So all the zodiac signs are divided into 9 parts each, totaling 108. And each sign will consist of 9 nakshatra parts or 2 1/4 nakshatras. The first nakshatra, Ashvini, is at Aries. The next 4 parts will be the second nakshatra, Bharani. The first quarter of the third nakshatra, Kritika, will fall at Aries, and the remaining of the 3 quarters of the nakshatra will fall at the next sign, Taurus. The fourth nakshatra is Rohini at Taurus. And the rest of the nakshatras are aligned in the same way. The fifth nakshatra is Mrigasira, followed by Ardra, Punarvasu, Pushya, Aslesha, and then we have the nakshatra Magha, Purva Palguni, Uttara Palguni, Hasta, Chitra, Swati, Vishaga, Anuradha, Jyestha, Moola, Purvashada, Uttarashada, Sharavana, Dhanishta, Sathabhisha, Purvabhadra, Uttarabhadra, and finally the nakshatra Revati. You can see that there is a pattern here, and the colors denote the planetary lords ruling the stars. I earlier spoke about your moon sign. So your Vedic star will depend on the longitude of your moon. For example, if your moon is at the 1st degree of Leo, then your Vedic star will be Magha. Or to be precise, the first part of Magha nakshatra, as even each part of a nakshatra has different characteristics or personalities. This is the table listing the 27 nakshatras. The previous video was on the Vedic stars. We saw the alignment of the 27 nakshatras and their respective Vedic names. This tutorial will be on the positional strength of planets. Well, the planets derive their strength through various sources, some of which include directional, motional, aspectual, and positional. In this video, I shall discuss a little bit on the positional strength of the planets. Positional strength of planets can be understood partly by knowing their dignities through placements in a given horoscope. Let's look at the chart containing the various states of grahas and the effects based on such dignities of planets. A graha in deep exaltation and exaltation placements will give fully auspicious results, while a graha in Mula Trikona will give 3/4 of such auspicious results. The auspicious effects of a graha placed in his own bhava will be halved, and a graha placed in a friendly sign will give 1/4 of such good effects. 1/8 of such good results will be given by a graha in a neutral sign. The auspicious effects are nil for a graha placed in an enemy's bhava and also for a graha in debilitation. Now this chart and the effects mentioned only consider the positional strength of planets, and even that only part of the same is discussed. Other factors considered for positional strength of planets will include, for instance, placements in angular or trinal bhavas, or placements in odd or even signs through which a planet may gain or lose its strength. The auspicious effects should therefore be reduced or increased accordingly if the planets lose or gain strength through other sources. But let's confine the discussion of positional strength of planets to this chart for now. Having said that, this table will still help you guess the strength of planets in a given horoscope. One point to note though is that this is a general table, and like every other rule, there are exceptions and cancellations which apply to this. So having an exalted planet may not prove to be favorable after all when other factors are considered. On the other hand, there may be debilitated planets in disguise, which may produce Raja Yogas. I shall discuss the positional strength of planets in detail soon. Thanks for listening. Hi, this is Madina here. We earlier discussed the auspicious effects given by the planets based on the dignities of the grahas. In this tutorial, I want to speak further on the states of the grahas. In an earlier video, I gave you the exaltation and debilitation signs of the planets. Now I shall let you have the longitudes at which the planets are deeply exalted and also the longitudes of deep fall of the planets. From the Sun onwards, the deepest exaltation degrees of the planets are 10, 3, 28, 15, 5, 27, and 20 respectively. And like I said earlier, the planets are debilitated at the 7th house from their respective exaltation signs. The degrees of deep exaltation will also apply to deep fall of the planets respectively. I also want to show you Narayana's birth chart again, and this time with the longitudes of the planets for our discussion later. In the next video, I shall let you have the Mula Trikona areas of the planets.